Hey bosses, it's Kay from Asian Boss. While we choose to pursue our mission of bridging social and cultural gaps between Asia and the West by bringing people's voices together, there are others who try to bring cultures together through food. Trevor James, better known as the Food Ranger on YouTube, has been introducing various foods and cuisines from underrepresented Asian countries for years now. And from live coconut worms in Vietnam to ox penis soup in Malaysia, he's certainly seen it all. So who is Trevor and why does he travel all around Asia doing what he does? This is a conversation with the Food Ranger. Well, Trevor.
Hey man, hey Kay, how are you?
Thanks for joining us today, really appreciate it.
Oh man, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
We met a couple of years ago in Tokyo at the YouTube summit.
Yeah, oh man, that was so much fun. What a great time.
I know, tons of creators congregating together, and even at that time, like, you were just so impressionable. You were from China, representing one of the YouTubers from China.
Yeah, that was really fun, being amongst all the creators from around the world and flying in from China. Feels like a different world back then before pandemic. All those memories.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? Keeping busy. I saw you guys, you managed to pull through everything. Real big congratulations, that's amazing.
Yes. Last year we were, at one point nearly bankrupt, but I think our community, really helped us.
Yeah, you guys have an amazing community there, and it was amazing to see the amount of support.
I was like super appreciative. Like I just didn't know what to say. Even on the day of the crowdfunding itself, I just didn't know what to say because I was just thinking of the worst case scenario and I was just almost shocked.
It was amazing to see. Ting and I were watching like, wow, that's really heartwarming to see how much support you guys got.
We really try to do our best to bridge social and cultural gaps through our mission. And I feel that for you, you're doing that with food, but more worldwide. You're bridging cultural gaps around the world with food in a sense.
Yeah, that's actually, you're right. That is what I'm trying to do in all of my videos, is to generally show how friendly people are around the world, everywhere we go, and to bridge those cultural, social gaps, like you say, exactly what you guys are doing as well. I think it's one of the best ways through food because everyone loves food and there's no politics. So it's really easy to make people feel happy through the videos, and it can bring people together. Where in the world, there's just so many things bringing people apart every day in the news. I try to just, put something good out there.
Yeah. I mean, every time I watch your content, it's, I just feel this positive energy and positive vibes and, good feels and good vibes when I watch it. And I appreciate that. It feels good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, I check out your content on Instagram too. Obviously, your Facebook is humongous too. And then it's typically these humongous meals that I've never seen before.
Yeah, the big meals. The content I make, I try to make it, of course, like super delicious and entertaining. And I don't try and make it too shocking, but I try and make it like unique in a way. So something people haven't seen before, or something that's curious that people want to watch to find out what's gonna be the final product. Like when I go into the kitchens and I show the making of certain dishes, a lot of the time that's really not so well seen on the internet. So I try to find those unique dishes that are curious and entertaining and delicious. Something different for all these years. Been doing it since 2013 now. So I'm just really blessed to be able to do what I do.
We probably started around the same period, I think, just because 2013 is the year actually Asian Boss started to in October.
Amazing.
I think we started to make videos back then, and so I understand it's been a long time.
I love a lot of the stuff you guys do. I like a lot of it is of course educational, but some of it is like funny as well. Like some of the stuff you guys, the people say just on the street, you know, it makes you, it's lighthearted and fun.
Yeah, I think what we've really tried to do is nobody really talks to people on the street like the normal people, and I think we just the average citizens who live in Korea or Japan or different countries in Asia, and we just feel that by talking to these people actually understand what's happening in that particular country, how people are thinking, and also the different types of opinions they might have too, and we're really trying to inform people like that.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you get opinions from all diverse groups of people. Like in China, you got a lot of the local people's opinions on the street that you might not normally hear in traditional media. And I love how you guys also, how you don't cut anybody for snippets, for the clickbait. You just let people say exactly what they want to say, and you don't put your opinion anywhere in it. You just let people say what they want to say, and that's it. I love it.
It's tricky sometimes because, let's say if there was a long pause or something like that, as, for the viewers, we are also concerned about the viewers. And so we would technically cut those parts out, but then some people might actually think that, we're taking out parts, when we're trying to make the viewer experience better and so on too. But we're just trying our best to just showcase what it is and to be neutral as possible. So, just really trying
Of course.
Our best for that.
But you're not taking an hour interview and taking one sentence and then blowing that one sentence up like a lot of big news. Yeah, that's what I was getting at, yeah.
I think we should start off from, how you started. Because you came from Canada. You're originally from Canada.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about, from Canada, you're going to China?
Yeah, that was a fun experience. So I went to UBC in Vancouver, and I had to get a language credit to graduate. So I took 2 terms of Mandarin Chinese. Actually, I almost failed the first couple semesters of that. Like I got like 60% or something. But maybe 1 or 2 semesters after those, I just was at a Chinese restaurant or something and I just remember saying like ni hao and just trying to practice what I learned. And I'll never forget how friendly and how people just opened up and encouraging they were to try to keep going. So I kind of got motivation from that in the beginning, practicing language. And I think that's what started me getting interested in moving to China after graduation to sort of see what I could do with that language sort of interest in making videos, because I always loved street food as well. So after graduation, I only had those 2 terms of Chinese language, but I had already sort of gotten a little bit more conversational because I was just having fun, at my university, ordering food and stuff.
Yeah. Why was it Mandarin out of all the languages that you could learn?
Oh yeah, good question. I think it was kind of just more fun. I didn't really want to do Spanish or French. Those seemed nothing against them, but they seemed kind of just normal. And I wanted to do something different. And also during that time, everyone, the sort of general feel was that China is going to be #1 economy in the world. It's going to be #1 trade in the world. And so that felt like the future. So I actually moved to China to get I enrolled in a master's program there, international trade. That was all taught in Chinese. So I had to do 1 year of Chinese language before even getting into that master's in China. So I moved to Chengdu, and I started 1 year of intense language study. The international trade was sort of the at the time, kind of my plan B. Plan A was YouTube. Let's go make some street food videos. Maybe I'll be able to make a living out of this. Maybe I'll be able to, travel the world and make food videos for a career. It was a big dream, but I had to, in my mind at least, I had to have a plan B. Like, okay, if this fails, maybe then I'll just do international trade with China. It seems like a respectable career.
Why did you focus on food? And, because I think many people when they're young, they don't really know, I mean, including myself too, I didn't really know what I really wanted. Whereas it seems like you were kind of set on food from like a much, since a long time ago.
I always loved food, and I remember I traveled a little bit before I graduated university, like backpacking trips and stuff. Like I went through Southeast Asia, I went through China, like a few other countries. And for me, what got me most excited was going to places and trying the food, trying the street food, trying the local food. Like I'll never forget how excited I got the first time I went to China and I walked into like a dumpling restaurant and there was like no English, of course, and it was all like a super long menu of dumplings, and I just like pointed at random ones and they were all so delicious. Like that got me so excited. So I feel like I've always loved that, I've always loved just exploring and trying new foods, and that feeling is what got me into it in the beginning.
Interesting.
So yeah, after moving to China, after 1 year of doing street food videos, it was about a year, I met my wife Ting in Turkey.
Why were you in Turkey out of all countries?
Well, I was at that point like teaching English, private tutoring, and saving some cash to go on trips to film. And Turkey was one of my first trips outside of China to film the local food. And I had like just a bit of spare cash from teaching English, enough for a flight and to stay in a hostel in Turkey. And my wife and her girlfriend at the time came in within the first day or two of me arriving to the hostel, and it was like a 4 dorm hostel room. So it was me and them two and like someone else, and we were all just chatting. And then I was like, why don't we all go explore Istanbul together? So from then on, like we started traveling Turkey together, and then it turned into something more. So the rest is history, I guess.
So how long were you in China then?
I was in China 6 years. Ting and I started doing it as a team. She would come out and help film these street food videos. And within that, I guess it was about a year and a half, I decided, like, it was all these little steps along the way, but I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna drop out of this master's program and cancel Plan B, cancel all the other, basically just go full on into YouTube. And I knew right from there when I threw out every backup plan, that I just had to make it come to life. Otherwise, I had nothing.
How long did it take for you to get there?
So I moved to China in 2014, and I think around mid-2016, I dropped out. And actually, I dropped out of that master's program, but then I went into 1 more year of culinary school in China, and that was gonna be like a 3-year program, but I couldn't handle the mixing it all up. So I only think I did one semester there because YouTube, I just couldn't keep up with editing, filming, going out, planning, and studying Sichuan food at the school. So I got 1 term, that was fun. Ting got to join as well. She was translator. She helped translate, so that was fun. People made fun of me for being left-handed because I was cooking on the wok, and they would just make fun of me. It was fun though. It was really fun.
Your Mandarin must be really good then.
Not so good, to be honest. Just it's good enough to converse the basics. Especially now after a couple years outside of China, I'm sure it's gotten down a bit. But I can order food. I can ask how you're doing, basic stuff. But if it's science or politics or stuff, that's not. I can't do that. Yeah.
Got it. And then you left China after that, and then you went to Malaysia?
Yeah, that's right. So it just so happened we moved to Malaysia right before pandemic. I really love Malaysia. We were planning it for quite a while, over a year. We got a long-term visa to live there. Once we moved there, it was just amazing. Street food, like all the hawker centers. I love Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. The food is just incredible and people are so friendly. But unfortunately, within a few months of us moving there, pandemic came. So we spent, as everyone else around the world did, a lot of time indoors for the next little while.
What was the reason for leaving China? Was it just to discover more content and discover more food? What was it?
Yeah, I think the reason for leaving China was definitely to do something new, try something new, get out, make a new home base. Because 6 years in China was great, but I guess I'm the type that just sort of gets like itchy feet. I just wanted something new, something more exciting. And I think China, we didn't, of course, China's massive. I love it for so many travel opportunities, so much delicious food. Like we just scratched the surface, but I still felt like I wanted something new and I wanted some curry, you know? I wanted some spicy curry, like red curry. I wanted some sambal, different flavors. And different flavors to life as well. Yeah.
Got it. I mean, I think it's kind of like, I guess for us, when we make content in China itself, it's quite difficult because there's kind of limitations in what we can actually talk about, even on the streets or the interviews itself. For you, was it quite difficult to make content in China, or do you think it didn't really matter because the content was food itself?
For the most part, making content in China wasn't too hard. A lot of the time it was really easy because people were so friendly when it comes to food. Everyone loves it and they would let us into the kitchens. Like a lot of the time we would just, almost anywhere would let us into the kitchen to film because they love when foreigners appreciate their food and culture. So that was really easy. But like you say, yeah, anything verging into the political realm is sensitive. So luckily food is not political, and I love that because we didn't really ever have to delve into politics. But there were a few places where we went where they were sensitive, and we could feel that, but we didn't need to touch on any of that because it's just food.
When I look at your content, it's so unique in terms of the food which you have. How do you even find those different types of foods from street foods, or do you ask your audience and say, hey, can you tell me, how do you do this?
Yeah, a lot of different ways. Definitely, like you say, from the audience, like on my Instagram, I'll ask, hey, we're coming to this place. Do you guys have any local food recommendations where we should go eat? And then I'll get like lots of DMs and I'll make a map, a food map, and then I'll just explore those places. That's one way. And then the other way is just like through Google. And then the other way is on the ground exploration. So those three ways, usually mixing up, is the way I'll find food. And also sometimes from people inviting us into their homes, which is also really nice.
I feel that a lot of your content is street food itself.
Yes.
And you go to all these, very different countries. And I'm just curious, do you ever have food poisoning or I don't know, like it must be really good, but at the same time, I'm just thinking you're just trying so many different things.
Food poisoning, usually I'm pretty good with, I haven't had too many times, like in the 10 years, just a few times. And usually it's not from food. It's just from water usually. So I had it once or twice in India when I would just drink like something that might have had ice cubes in it or something. And my stomach's not used to that. But for the food, like if it's a big pot and they're stirring it and it's boiling and it's hot, it's usually perfectly okay.
What's like the best food that you've ever had? I mean, I'm sure it's really difficult to pick.
Oh.
But if you could name a few, what would that be?
There's just so many good foods. I love Malaysian food a lot, Indonesian food. I like nasi lemak. I love any type of curry. Like I love Indian food, Thai food, all the different curries around the world. I just love spicy, strong flavors the most. That's what gets me the most excited. Anything with chili, turmeric, coconut milk, all that sort of stuff is what I really love. I find it way more exciting than Western food. So that's, I think, why I've done a lot of content mostly in Asia, Middle East, because there's more spices, there's more flavor in my opinion, and it's more delicious. Yeah.
I also saw you eating very exotic, different types of animals.
Oh, maybe like a camel or something?
Yeah, camel or wide range, like from rabbit.
Oh yeah, rabbit. In Chengdu, in Sichuan, they have rabbit head. It's like a delicacy. Yeah, it's like rabbit head on a skewer, and they coat it in chili oil, Sichuan peppercorn, so it's numbing and spicy. Yeah, that's delicious. But I don't ever go for like, that's not really my goal, is to go for like the shock value and just find extreme things. That's not really for me. I don't want to ever eat any like endangered species or anything that's controversial. But if it's like a common delicacy in the country, like for example in where we moved to now in Dubai, like you can get camel, and locals love it. And we went to Saudi and we had like a nice camel platter, and locals love it. It's not endangered. It's not like that extreme. I think it's just like a normal meal for the locals there. So that sort of stuff. I'm trying to show what's a normal meal for people around the world. What do people eat? The food in Korea must be good too. We actually haven't filmed in Korea yet. I'd love to visit.
You are more than welcome to come and can take you out here in Seoul.
That would be great. I want to film the how do you say it? Hotyeok with the egg on the inside. It's the pancake with they put the egg on the inside.
Actually, I'll have to look it up. I've just been eating tons of Korean barbecue all the time. So.
Okay.
You might actually know more Korean food than me.
I don't know. But I really want to eat and film that one because it's so unique. They take a funnel, and it's like a flatbread pancake, and they put the funnel into the pancake, and then they pour the eggs in, and then the eggs go into the pancake while it's on the grill and cooking. That looks delicious.
Yeah, I think I've definitely tried it. It's really good.
It looks good.
Yeah, definitely. If you're in Korea, there's so many different types of food that you can try. I mean, even from Japan to Korea.
Oh yeah, Japan is so amazing, so unique, so many unique delicacies.
Yeah,
Love
I typically
Japan.
just eat ramen and sushi if I just just go to Japan. I have my go-tos. Actually, how many countries have you been to so far?
I don't think that many, like maybe 40 or so. Like there's a lot of travelers that have been to like 80 or 90 or 100,
That's a lot of countries though. You must have tried so many different types of food. You must have had so many memories.
A lot of memories, yeah.
What's some of the most interesting experiences that you could share as like a story?
Ting and I were chatting about this. Ting, why don't you come say hi? Ting's right here.
Hi.
Hi, long time no see. How are you?
Hi. Really long time. Good. How are you?
I'm glad you guys are doing well.
Yeah, we are doing.
Yeah, doing well. We just got into Jakarta. We're here for filming. And Kay was just asking about like interesting stories.
I would say Dubai.
We just moved there.
So many of my friends and asked me some question. For example, Ramadan, like I'm just laying on the beach and with a bear, it's like, are you supposed to be like Ramadan while you're drinking alcohol? Something like that.
What about Iran was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the news makes it seem like,
How was it misrepresented? What do you think before you visited the country?
Well, I think before visiting Iran, the general feeling that I was getting from family and friends was like, be careful, or like, don't go, or like, sort of like you just get that vibe, right? But when we went there, it's completely safe. People were so friendly. Food was good. Really nothing to worry about. We shot like 9 or 10 episodes in Iran, I think. And they were all with our friend, Mr. Taster. He's an amazing, hilarious guy with the hair on the sides. So much fun. So many like memories and delicious food.
Were there any difficulties in, filming for Iran or other, so-called dangerous countries in a sense?
Not for those countries, no. I'd say the most difficult places we've been probably Hong Kong and Japan.
Really?
Yeah, those other countries like Iran and even Egypt was okay for us. But Hong Kong and Japan were the hardest because I think back in the time we were in Hong Kong, it was like before COVID, so tourism is so high, like, and they don't really want to just let you film anything, of course. We decided like, okay, we probably won't film much in Hong Kong in the future just because it was so hard. And I think the stress, the lifestyle there is very competitive, and they want you to eat and leave. Like the tables are just packed, everyone. You sit next to someone like super close and you're kind of just like eating super fast, right? So if you take any longer than it takes to eat a bowl of noodles, they want you out. And then Japan we found very hard as well because it's just so polite and so quiet and respectful.
So they didn't really talk much, or what was the reason why it was difficult?
Yeah, it was hard to get permission for filming, and I also felt like this level of my voice, like that I'm talking right now, in Japan you have to bring it down like a lot because you don't want to disrupt other people or be rude or anything, right? But in other countries, like you can talk with this level of voice and it's not rude, but in Japan you got to be quiet and respectful. So when we went for sushi and stuff, I was just kind of talking like really quiet, like so that.
I was just still wondering if there were any other culture shock stories that you might have had in a different country, for example.
Maybe Pakistan?
Pakistan?
Yeah.
Like what was the culture shock in Pakistan?
Funny story will be you drinking the camel milk in the street, and the lady just keep asking you. Put down your knees.
Yeah, we were with our buddy Ali there, who is our friend and guide who's guiding us around in Islamabad. He drives past a camel and he's like, "Oh, Trev, you've got to taste this." I was like, "Taste what? It's a camel. Like, you can't just like cook a camel like right there or something." So he turns around and we drive back, and it's a family on the side of the street with a camel. Or there was three camels, right? Two babies and one adult. And he's like, "Okay, you got to try it. This is the freshest you're ever gonna get." So he like puts his hand on my back and he's like sort of ushering me towards the camel, and then he's like he chats with the lady, and the lady takes over and she's like, "Okay, get on your knees."
Okay.
And I'm like, no. Because at first I pointed, I'm like, "Oh," because she was milking it, right? First I'm like, "Oh, so I can just take some from the bucket?" And he's like, no, you're going to get it direct from the source.
I see.
So the lady's like, "Get on your knees." And at this point in time, I was like, okay, there's no backing out. And so I got on my knees, and then the lady just like sprays it, and she's like, "Open your mouth." But I opened my mouth a little late, and like it went all over my face. Yeah, that's a good one. It was so messy, and it was delicious too. It's kind of like a extra creamy milk, maybe slightly sweet.
Actually, I'm just kind of curious, for milk like that, can you just directly drink like that, or do you technically have to heat it up, or I don't know, just go through a procedure?
I think the locals drink it that way, and they're fine. So
That's how they sell it on the street.
that's how they sell it on the street. So, but maybe technically, like, yeah, you might want to like pasteurize it or something.
But not every local is drinking it from the source, right?
No, not like not. Not like that. No. The locals don't do the get on your knees thing. No.
Okay.
But for the title of that video, like I called it the Camel Milk Station, because you got to make the titles like, as you know, you got to make the titles like catchy, right? So the seller will squeeze it into a bucket, and then I think she'll like pour it into a bag, right? And then they'll take it as a bag.
You go to so many places, right, for street foods, and when you eat something, it just seems like you're enjoying every food, but there must be places where you're like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to say about the food.
Like last time in Indonesia, we tried to film a snake.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
But
that was
we-
too
we
much.
say no.
Yeah, that was there was like a street stall with snakes and like they cut it open and then you can drink the blood direct. That was at a point in time where I was thinking maybe this will get views or something, and I was thinking maybe I could try and get some content like that. But then we got up there and like he was about to grab the snake and like it just didn't feel right, you know? It didn't feel right to, I don't know. I didn't really want to drink the raw snake blood. Even though the locals like it, it's not, I guess it's like a delicacy for some locals, I guess, like a minority maybe, I don't know. But I couldn't do it. That was one thing I said no to. But Ting, your dad, when you were a kid, he gave that to you, right?
Yeah, when I was like about 10, and he brought a snake back home and cut it right through from the neck and just give the blood, it just go into my mouth direct.
Really?
Yeah, and then you eat the heart with alcohol.
Oh, wow. With alcohol?
Yeah, just
Wow.
You try all sorts of, foods itself. Other than the snake that you were just talking about, is there like foods where you have to it's kind of pushing your boundaries to eat and just kind of pushing your comfort zone? Because I'm just looking at your videos sometimes and I'm like, oh, whoa, this is interesting.
I don't eat wild animal or endangered species or anything like that, or even like I don't ever want to try dog or cat or anything. Like I don't ever want to cross into those extreme boundaries. I just want to show like what most local people like to eat in countries, you know? We went to a night market in Western China in Qinghai province was it Xining or Lanzhou? Lanzhou. Lanzhou, yeah. And it's a Muslim city, I guess, minority city, or mostly mixture of Hui Chinese and Han Chinese. It's a mix of those. So the Hui Chinese are Muslim, and one of the delicacies there is the lamb brain. And I was like, sure, let's try it. So it's a bunch of lamb skulls, and you just point at one, and then he like cracks it open, and with the butcher's knife, and then like the brain is revealed, and then he, and it's already cooked there. So he just pops the brain open, and then like sprinkles some salt on it, and there you go. And that was one that was a bit too creamy, like nasty creamy. I didn't like. And I also, there's been a few other experiences like with intestines. If the intestines aren't cleaned properly, it actually tastes like shit, which is not nice.
Doesn't sound nice. Actually, this is something which I realized from watching your videos. I feel like you're always trying to learn the local language too.
A little bit here and there, exactly. That's one thing I love about when you travel to a new place, you can sort of learn a few small phrases, and it goes a long way. Like even just saying good morning or thank you or anything, locals really appreciate it, and it opens up a lot, and it sort of endears you towards them, and you can make connections with people a lot better. So yeah, even just last night, we just got into Jakarta, and last night around midnight, I went out for some rice and curry, and I just said like, hi guys, like, and I said like, satu, one of this, please, satu, one of that, please, and like, when he said, what do you want to drink? I said, air, like water, please, and they were all sort of just like, oh, like kind of warming up, you know? It's a good feeling. I like that.
I guess with the language, you just try to connect with the locals each time. Or do you also have translators to just come with you and help you sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a mixture of those two. Sometimes I really love going alone and not having any support, because then you can really get you can actually get kind of more connected with people without the translator, because there's nobody there to help you. And sometimes the content is even better because you just get those natural reactions and feelings and interactions. Actually, it's easier though to have a full guided trip wherever we go. Like we'll have a local guide or a friend or someone there that speaks the language and knows where the good food is, take us around. And that's also really good because we get more content, but it's it's mostly just food content. There's no sort of interaction, which is what I think a lot of people like, and also I like to do, to show the locals in the frame more. But if the guide is just helping us order and telling we need permission and everything is so smooth, sometimes you don't get those natural scenes, if you know what I mean.
Actually, what does it take to make a video for you? Do you spend like a day shooting and then just how does the process go?
Usually for a street food tour, we have 5 or 6 street food scenes in one video. Sometimes 3 or 4 if they're longer scenes. So anywhere from 3 to 6 scenes. Like I don't eat all that food in one day. Usually it's 2 or 3 days. But sometimes I'll make it look like one day, or I'll just put it all into one video. So that 2 or 3 days of shooting, and then I'll send all the footage. We have couple editors, send it to them, and then they can edit that. Usually it takes them about a week. And then they send back the Premiere project file to me, and then I do the cleanup. So, because that was one of the growing pains that I really struggled with in the beginning was, I'm sure all creators go through this, right? Everyone goes through this. You want it to be your project, and no one can make it exactly like you want it. So in the beginning that was tough, but eventually I just accepted that that's how it's got to be. You got to have an editor if you want to grow. So the editor sends back the project, and then it takes me about 1 day to clean it up, just sort of make it how I touch it to make it sort of mine. 1 day, and then it's ready to upload.
So you're pretty much doing from the topics selection to where you're going, and then you're doing the filming, and the only outsourced part is just the editor part then, if that's the case.
Pretty much, yeah. We do all the planning. Although if there's a local help, if we have local help there, they'll help plan it, which is great too, right? But mostly, yeah, we're doing most of the stuff. And I like that. That's how we've designed it, keep it small. I really love having the freedom to just be able to go anywhere within a day or two. Like, let's go eat some curry in Jakarta. I love that feeling. So having a small team and having more freedom is what I'm aiming for, yeah.
What's your ultimate goal as a food content creator?
My ultimate goal is definitely to just keep putting positive content out into the world. It's endless, the amount of places to travel and eat and create content there is in the world. So I just really want to keep going and keep putting positive stuff out. Make the world just put good stuff out that people can bring people together instead of pull people apart, you know? I'd say that's the goal.
Obviously, your content is super positive. At the same time, do you also receive any criticism, for example, from commenters or just viewers?
Yes, all the time. And it took a while for me to get, I guess, used to it, you could say. It's in the beginning when you're putting something out and you put all your heart into it and you love the final product, and someone writes something nasty, it can be hurtful, especially if it's about you as a person and not about the content. If it's about you, I get a lot of comments people saying oh, this guy is, he says wow too much, or he's annoying, his voice is annoying, he's just everything you could imagine. People just say things, and it can be hurtful. But now I think it took me a couple years to start. Now sometimes if I read I don't think anything bothers me as much anymore. But if it's a constructive point, then of course I'll take it. But for the most part, I think I'm fine with it now. An important thing to realize is that when people are commenting negative things like that, a lot of the time it's not actually about you, right? I'm sure all creators realize this eventually too, is it's just that person is not in a good place and they're just typing negative things out on the internet.
I guess because I don't know, food content itself, I was kind of imagining maybe it's, people who would be vegan or so, watching your videos. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I thought it would maybe be those.
Sometimes we get those, but that doesn't bother me because I'm eating a hamburger or something and I don't feel offended. But if someone says, oh, this guy is so annoying, then I might feel like not so happy. I think that's an important thing, is mental health. Like with comments, you can't let them get to you, because as creators, we're just trying to put something good out there, something that we've worked hard on, and it's really easy to write negative stuff on the internet. Like when you read comments, a lot of time it's all negative on certain videos, because the people with something positive to say, a lot of the time they don't type a comment. But the negativity, it's just like the people want to get it out, you know?
What about the time you were living in China, for example? Do people sometimes accuse you for being, paid by the Chinese government or?
Oh, yeah, here and there. There was sometimes people would say like that I didn't talk about certain topics, or I should bring to light certain issues. But that was never my intention, to get into politics really about anything. Because even if I did touch on certain issues, there's certain people that would get alienated on either side. And I didn't really ever want to alienate people. I wanted to bring people together. And politics is mainly just governments, It's not people. On the ground, on the street, in most countries, everyone, like 99% of the people are just friendly, nice people. And why would I want to touch on politics to bring people apart when I could just try and show that in my videos? Like if you go to countries that might not have the best reputation politically, whatever's going on in the world, any issue, but you go on the street and you eat their food, the people are most likely going to be friendly. And that's what I try and show.
I'd like to also just ask you some of the challenges that you might go through as creating content. Was there a particular struggle or a low point, that you have to go through?
Yes, for sure. I think most creators go through periods of burnout. It definitely is a dream to be able to travel the world and make food content, right? But at the same time, it is tiring when you're traveling like 250 days a year and staying in hotels, and you don't have like a sense of grounding. Like it can feel kind of like your world is spinning in a way, because every day is something new. To try and sustain that long term, it can get a little bit tiring, and to be able to try and think of new ideas every day, new ideas. Definitely a lot of creators, I'm sure you guys maybe have gone through this as well, can experience burnout. So yeah, there was a period, it lasted for about a year, I think, where sometimes it was hard to like feel motivated to just keep going. I think we took about a month or two off and just I went back to see my family in Canada, went hiking, just slowed down a bit, and then came back and felt better. And now I think, now we're fine, like not so much burnout, feeling good, and prioritizing like health, exercising, eating healthy. Burnout definitely can affect anyone. So it's important to prioritize yourself a lot of the time and do what you have to do to feel better.
I could imagine if you're just going around and traveling all the time itself, sometimes it might be quite difficult to just kind of keep a good rhythm, and and you don't have that kind of home to get back to, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. So now we've got a base in Dubai, and we go out like once every month, once every 5 weeks, 6 weeks, go out for a 2-week trip and come back and edit and then work out and feel healthy. Like now we found a great rhythm, a great flow, and we're really happy.
You're in Indonesia right now. So what are some exciting projects that you're going to be doing?
Yeah, really excited. Actually, just got in last night, and this trip is going to be a little bit different from the rest of our trips because we actually haven't planned a lot, and we didn't even bring our cameras. We just brought iPhones, and we're just going to be filming on iPhone everything and going to do mostly street exploration. Like just walk down the street and film the things that look good. And we've got a few cities planned, like we're going to be here, Jakarta, we're going to go Surabaya, and also Bali. And we're just going to film whatever looks good. And a lot of it's going to be vertical content. I think that's the future. Vertical content, Instagram, Facebook. People are more on short form these days. So we're going to be trying to do more short form as well.
Do you just make money just from YouTube ads itself, or how do you finance all of these trips and different things that you do?
Yeah, it's YouTube and Facebook right now. YouTube and Facebook.
Right, and just the ads, no sponsorships or anything.
Just the ads. Just
Wow.
the ads. Yeah, we haven't done any sponsorships in a long time. Like we've had a couple of the ones most YouTubers do, like the VPN or there's been a few, like all the but it's been a couple years.
Do you feel it's nerve-wracking? Let's say if Facebook or YouTube, they just change their algorithm one day, for example, and then all of a sudden you don't get the views that you expect, for example.
Yeah, it's scary. It's definitely scary that maybe one day YouTube will die or Facebook will die. It's scary because then there's nothing, right? Then we would have to maybe take more sponsorships or who knows. But so that's why one of our goals right now is to just save as much money as possible so that we have some savings to live on in case some algorithm change happens,
Yeah, because you're living the dream in a sense of a lot of people where you can travel the world and experience different things, and I think a lot of people would want that type of lifestyle. Are there any tips to do what you want to do and go around the world like you?
For sure. If you're looking to become a creator, that's what's so amazing about the world we live in right now, is that you can be a creator for any genre of content and create videos about anything you love. I think the first most important thing is to make the videos about something you love and you're genuinely interested in, not because you think there's money behind it. When I started, I loved making food and travel videos, and I just kept going, and eventually it turned into something successful. But I wouldn't have been able to do it if I just was seeing that, maybe there might be money in it one day. It was just because I loved it. And the other thing is you have to definitely stay consistent and keep going no matter what. You might make 100 videos and they'll all get no views. But then on the 101st video, it could go viral. And I would say once you find out that formula that gets views, just do it over and over and over and over and over again. And it might take 100 videos to learn how to get that. But once you find it, you can just do it over and over again. It doesn't matter for what genre. There's just a way of editing and choosing the right shots that get people interested, and also realizing what to go shoot and what topics to cover. It's sort of like a creator sense, I guess you could say, like of all these different things combined, what to shoot, how to edit, how to make it entertaining, and that develops over time the longer you create content. And as soon as you get that and build that up, your chances of getting more views becomes higher. So yeah, consistency, make sure you love it, and things will definitely move upwards.
What would be a message that you would like to share to our viewers and the world?
The world is a friendly place. For the most part, wherever you go, people are friendly, and I really found that traveling more, it's kind of stereotypical to say, but it really broadens your horizons, and you realize that people are almost all the same. We all want to look after ourselves and our families. We all have dreams and goals, and I've just been so blessed to be able to experience and see this around the world. And that's something that you can see the more you travel. Yeah, people are friendly all around the world, and we're all the same.
I really hope that you really have a good time in Indonesia too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're really excited to be here. Tonight we're going out for fish head curry. Can't wait.
Sounds really good. Yeah, you're just making me hungry. Yeah. Really appreciate your time today, and it was really nice to reconnect again.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. Thank you for having us on. Thank you.